This is more of an opinion piece, but I believe that Elon Musk is a risk to React Native. Why do I say that? So recently, Elon Musk officially bought Twitter. So that means then he owns 100% or controls 100% of Twitter because he's the majority shareholder. And there's nothing wrong about that, but what this meant is that it came with a lot of firing of staff, and also changes in priorities to the Twitter engineering team as well. There was an article whereby he wanted the Twitter staff to print out the code for Twitter, which was really funny. But but you may be asking yourself, like, how does this affect React Native? How's React Native involved in Twitter and Elon Musk? So you must remember that previously Twitter moved to have like a more React-based mobile web stack. So initially it was just like React on its own that was being used by Twitter, and all of this was Nicholas was one of the people who was powering this move to this new stack. So from PWAs, Twitter quickly also moved to React Native actually. So sections of the Twitter app was using React Native for web. So React Native for web. So Twitter is one of the companies which is using React Native for web on their elements. And this was led by Nicholas. So many of you would have, if you've used React Native for web, or you use you active on Twitter earlier on, like Nicholas was quite active on the drive to, it's like the core contributor for React Native for web. I mean, the whole repo is under his name, so I'll just put a link to the repo as well on the description. Yeah, so that means then, like, obviously at the time he was working for Twitter, and that's where most of the advancement when it comes to React Native for web came in. So this means that now that, like, the staff at Twitter, they're quite familiar, they're quite used to like working with React Native for web, because I mean it's part of their stack and it's used on the Twitter app. So that's fine and all, but now when you get an instance whereby Elon Musk is firing or is removing some of the Twitter engineers, so that means then some of the brains who are working behind, who are helping to maintain React Native for web, they might be out of a job, and they might be moved out and reprioritize other items besides React Native. So that's one of the risks that is happening here. I see Nicholas is no longer with Twitter, so at least that risk is not there. It's currently working with Meta under the React.js team. So my worry is that, like, what's going to happen now is that we know that Elon Musk is getting Twitter engineers to actually go and have a look at the React code, at the Twitter code. So, but what do we know about Twitter, about Tesla? So we know that Tesla is currently on its stack. They're using it's mainly they're using Angular and React for their main front end team. The Tesla app luckily is using React Native, so at least in that front there is hopes there that they might like engage, like I might still embrace React Native, but there's a chance that Twitter is gonna purely move to become like either React or Angular, because that's the main stack that they're using, and they're more familiar with that because Elon Musk was getting his trusted engineers to have a look at the code. And trust me, if you're an engineer, you tend to go with what you know most or what you know better. If you're dealing with Angular most of the time, you might go for that piece, which is, there's nothing wrong about that. But then the problem is like when now you're shifting resources, so that means then there'll be less resources on the React Native web side, and that just might result in like people we're gonna be getting less contributions to the React Native because it's open source. So and if you get a big company like Twitter using React Native for web, obviously that's how it was able to grow this fast. So we know that companies like Expo, they're using React Native for web when they're doing like Expo. So, but then it's like React Native for web is like huge influence. I mean, it's written right here. So on the web, your app is rendered with React Native for web, which powers massive websites and progressive web apps like Twitter. So this one might fall away soon if Elon Musk actually goes by and fully takes the idea of like moving Twitter to a more safe environment. So this might move away, and like the appeal of React Native for web might be lost for some. It will be getting less people who are using React Native for web, and that way we're not growing. So yeah, I think now it's more like about like watching the space and seeing what happens in Twitter, and seeing how it will influence our development with React Native. So Solito as well is also powered by a React Native for web. You'd know like Solito is a platform which is the brainchild of Ferdinand. So Fernando it's actually using React Native for web and then Next.js to create highly performant websites purely using React Native. So this is one of the like you can see here, they all do mention. So everything here is like React Native and web, which is pretty cool. So we have a lot riding on Twitter to keep using this stack, which is React Native for web on their side, and actually showcasing the power of React, because we know React is really powerful. And with React Native, you can literally do anything. So we're just gonna keep watching the space and seeing how things progress. But hopefully nothing much will change. In fact, there'll be more contributions because the team will have more resources now. Yeah, so we'll see. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know about your thoughts on this matter. Okay, cool, y'all. Cheers.